Hello everybody, welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. This is Freya, I'm Jason, and we're bringing you today's episode. As always guys, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We just want to keep bringing you guys books, authors. We're a small family channel. We're really passionate about books, really passionate about reading, think more people should read for fun. We're going to keep doing these videos anyway, but any support would be greatly appreciated. So today I want to talk about Monster Girl Inn by Misty Vixen. And I don't believe we've talked about this author in the past. I know I've talked about the book in the past. And it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one with a different premise for sure. So, as always, I'm going to talk about four things. I'm going to talk about the world, the plot, or the world, the characters, the plot, and the writing style. So, the world is your typical fantasy-adjacent swords and sorcery and beast girls and monster girls fantasy land. I mean, it's pretty much what you expect. The majority of books within these genres are generally fall within this realm. I won't call it a lit RPG. They don't have, stats and classes and stuff like that. So more of a fantasy, just a fantasy novel and harem-lit type novel. So the main character's name is Victor. Now there ends up being other characters that come into play here, but the main character is Victor. And Victor is just an adventurer. I mean, that's the best way to put it. He's worked as a mercenary, he's worked as a soldier, he's worked as a miner, he's worked as a carpenter, he's not worked for a few months at a time and just mooched off other people. He's just a traveling adventurer. That's what he's been. That's what he is now. Tells a few stories here and there from when he was just starting out. He was just, just a poor boy from a poor family from a small little town that just ended up becoming an adventurer. Traveled for a while, so he's, I won't call him a grizzled vet. I mean, he's not old, but he's not a child either. I can't remember if they mentioned his age, but anything, he's maybe in his late 20s, mid to late 20s, or at most early 30s. So, he's seasoned. He's seasoned. He's experienced. He's knowledgeable. But more than anything else, he's horny, and that kind of leads into the plot. So he's a swordsman. He's just a warrior. That's what I should say, a warrior. Equally skilled with a dagger as a sword. Leather armor. Turns out his sword he had blessed by a priest friend at one point, so it's useful against undead and such like that. Now we get to the plot. So Victor, the book starts out with Victor just traveling. He's traveling to what they call the hinterlands. He's basically traveling to, you'd almost consider it like I don't want to call it the Badlands, but the wilds, basically. That might be the best way to put it. He's traveling to the wilds that a lot of books, a lot of worlds, a lot of Fantasyland type worlds have. In this case, the wild's actually pretty beautiful. The hinterland's pretty beautiful. It's just forest, probably mountains, stuff like that. It's just the wilds. It's not part of the country, the world, the town, such like that. But it's also not it's not your wasteland either. It's considered dangerous, and it's a spot that a lot of adventurers will go to, a lot of mercenaries will go to, because there's things that can be found in there. You can make money by adventuring within the hinterlands. So there'll be dungeons. There's monster people. There's probably treasure, stuff like that. But Victor's got a slightly different reason for going to the hinterlands. Victor's reason for going to the hinterlands is he has discovered through his life that he's a bit of a pervert. And he has found that he mostly enjoys intimate encounters with non-humans. Now, typically with what you would call beast girls, stuff like that, your cat girls and things like that show up in a lot of books, a lot of fantasy books, a lot of harem books. But then you've also got your monster girls. And the monster girls are what Victor discovers he is most interested in. He had a life-changing encounter with a dryad at some point, and he has come to the belief, one, that monster girls are not necessarily, that the monster people, the intelligent monster people, are not as evil as people make them out to be, and could just very well just be people like anybody else. And two, that the monster girls, the female ones, can absolutely rock his world, and that's what he wants. That's what he's hoping for. That's what he wants. And that's why he's traveling to the hinterlands. He's been told that that's where most of the monsters are, and he wants to go meet the monster girls and do things with them. So that's kind of the setup to the book. And as he enters the hinterlands, as he starts his foray into the wild bush, he one of the first ones he meets is a snake girl, a viper girl. And she's a unique viper girl in that, unlike most of her kind, she has no magic. So she's kind of an outcast. In fact, she is an outcast. So he meets with her, he connects with her, he saves her life, they talk for a little while, do other things for a little while. And as he gets to know her, and they talk more, she tells him her dream. And her dream is to open an inn, open a hotel out in the hinterlands, basically. He wants to open an inn in the hinterlands that will hopefully draw together the people from the nearby towns, the human people from the nearby towns, and the monster people in maybe a neutral, safe spot. Maybe they can get to know each other, they could trade. Trade would be huge, because again, most of these monster beings, they are intelligent, they have societies, they have crafts, they have things they can offer. And maybe try and draw the two worlds together. And Victor finds this interesting, finds her interesting, decides he wants to throw in with her, and then they, of course, can't do it alone, so they go get another friend of hers who happens to be a succubus. Now, this succubus is also an outcast. There's a little theme going here. Also an outcast, and a little bit of, well, she's a succubus, so you kind of know what she's a little bit of, and a lot bit of. And, of course, you can guess where things go from there. And then they end up drawing in their harpy friend. Meanwhile, through this, they also have this kind of recurring undead problem that's been going on that they need to try and solve. So after killing off a whole bunch of undead, that's when they go find the harpy friend that can maybe help them with the big baddie in here. And that's for the most part it. As far as plot goes, it's more of a slice of life than anything else. As far as the writing style goes, it's really hard to pigeonhole the writing style. This one, I will say, has a little bit too much of the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I very rarely read it. I usually just skip through. Some of them I'll read, but very rarely. I'm mostly much more interested in the story. Just because the subgenre of the harem lit doesn't mean they don't have fantastic authors, fantastic stories. So, I usually find myself skipping through, and in this one there was a lot of it. It was probably 30% of the book. Now, again, if you take all that out, you do have a great book. You have a great book and a lot of fun to read, but in this case, you take it all out and you would have a short story or a novella. So that was the only thing that I wasn't a huge fan of. But otherwise, it's a fun book. It's a fun book. I'm definitely going to be reading number 2 and reviewing it for you guys. So after you guys hit the like and subscribe buttons, guys, just go check it out. Monster Girl Inn by Misty Vixen. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye now.